Welcome back. It's Real People, Real Life, the Wichita, Kansas,
America
edition. Yay! And we're here in our new year, 2017. Big shout out to all of our new media partners for 2017.
Yeah.
We have Mid-America Ag Network Radio, which is KGSO, KQAM. We also have Q92 that is owned by Envision Group here in Wichita, and I can't wait to tell you more about that and some of the things we'll be doing with them. And of course, Fox TV, My TV, and Great Plains TV. So the purpose is, as always, to try to address the issues and then go and meet people like you, Sandy, that's going to kind of educate us and help us along the process of the different things that are going on. Sandy, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do have a cough drop.
Happy to
I'm
be
still
here.
fighting this crud. And so sorry if I went over my cough drop. Sandy, you have been with Interfaith Ministries for how long?
25 and a half years, almost 26 years.
Holy moly. Okay, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
Wow. What's changed?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything and nothing.
Right?
Right.
So you take on the homeless situations here, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Interfaith Ministries to you is what and has been what for the last 25, 26 years?
Interfaith Ministries is just that. What I'm doing is a ministry because it's nothing at all that I trained for.
Wow.
I kind of prayed my way into the job.
That's cool.
And I'll be out when it's time for me to be out. But I came into the job hoping to help end homelessness, and apparently that's not going to be possible.
25 years later.
Yeah,
Still
because
have
it would take
homeless.
probably another 25 years, and I'm not going to do
Right. Yeah. Hello.
that.
You'd be exhausted, honey.
So the thing is that I really had the wrong opinions of who were actually homeless when I first got involved. I'd been social conscious my entire life pretty
Right.
much, but to start looking at people and realizing who really are the homeless, it was kind of a shock for me in the beginning. Because what I discovered is that they're exactly the same as we are.
Right.
If we brought in some homeless people and sat them down in a group of us, we would all look the same pretty much. The only difference is that maybe they weren't maybe as well kept because they didn't have the resources to take care of themselves
Right.
the same way that we would.
Get their hair done or
But
makeup or
they're
whatever.
basically, they look like us, and it would be hard to know the difference.
You know, I did have 3 people that were, in fact, homeless that we opened our doors to in 2016. And I got to tell you, kids, I am so far from a trained professional at any of that. And so I can't say thank you to you guys enough because I'm obviously not very good at dealing with a lot of it. And what I noticed, though, was, sadly enough, was some of the addictions.
Right.
You know, whether it was alcohol addiction, gambling addiction, and of course there was meth and heroin. You know, wow, that's tough. I couldn't do it. I'm like, there's the door. I couldn't do it. Sorry, and I know that's terrible, but I couldn't do it.
So, like, the main reasons for the homeless, I mean, with mental health having changed recently and the help that's out there, that's brought a lot more to being homeless, right? So
Well-
it's in addition to addiction and like
The economy.
the economy, you know, just bad luck. Also, there's this mental health that we have now that are finding themselves homeless.
I would say that the reasons are as diverse as we are, because not everybody has the same story. And one of the questions that I'd hoped to answer some years ago was, which came first, the addiction or the homelessness?
Good question.
Because sometimes we find that people get out and they become homeless and destitute, and they start using to kind of take care of their feelings.
So
coping
sometimes
mechanism,
it
maybe?
kind of promotes that.
Sometimes it does. And so you find some people that situationally are doing those kinds of things. And once they're able to stabilize and they get out, it kind of remedies itself. But it's not often, but it does. The other thing is that during the 90s, when we had all of the aircraft plants doing layoffs and things, there were a lot of people that were laid off because they had changed some of the job descriptions in some of the locations and things. People had overextended themselves in terms of financially, and therefore they would hold on to the hope that they were going to get another job that paid the same as they had from aircraft.
Yeah, good luck.
And many of them, of course, had little, if any, education at all. They had gone to work
Right.
straight out of high school, and then expected to get an upper level position, which they did not get. So not only did they lose their jobs, but most of them lost their families,
Yep.
all of their housing, everything else that they had, and ended up out on the street. One guy came to us and basically said he had been a donor for Interfaith for probably 5 or 6 years, and then he was there trying to get some help
Really?
from us. Yeah. So,
How unfortunate.
so that, in addition to the mental health that you've mentioned, the hospitals were changed out back in the 90s, and they closed a lot of the hospitals, and they made it more community-based services. And though community-based services are good, they don't always catch everybody.
Right.
And certainly they're not like keeping somebody locked up in a hospital.
Right.
So there were a lot of people that were actually turned out at that point, and so we have a lot of folks that are out on the streets. Because we have the laws that we have that says that people get to make the decision about whether or not they accept mental health services and whether or not they take medication.
Right. That's scary.
So
And
we have a lot of folks that are out there that probably
should be on medication.
should be on medication.
But doesn't it cost
Doesn't it what cost?
the medication?
Well, they do have some programs that pay for their medications.
Really?
Like Medical Services Bureau, if a person has medications that they need that are non-narcotic, they can generally get prescriptions filled for about $2.
And where'd you say that was?
The
for
Medical
viewers?
Services Bureau.
How do they?
They can contact the Medical Services Bureau by phone to find out what their new hours are going to be, this because they're changing some of their hours, as I understand. But they can go down and visit with one of the case managers down there and tell them some of the things that they need. They also help with vision tests and glasses and all
Really?
kinds of
Wow.
things. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Where are we at right here, right now? This is your overflow?
Yes,
Shelter?
we're in the emergency winter shelter. This is for the men, and it's at 8th and Market.
Okay.
And this is open through the months of November through the end of March.
Wow. Yeah, that's our kind of our nasty
You
winter
said
months.
overflow.
Yeah, this is an overflow shelter here. Now, you also have another, I want to ask you about some of the facilities. There's another one that is able to accommodate parents with children. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That would be Interfaith Inn at 320 East Central.
Okay, and that's like little suites almost? I mean,
Well, no, they're just rooms, and
Okay.
and if it's a single woman, she might be in the same room with several other women, as with same with men. But when families come in, of course, we keep them together in a room.
You know, that's a big thing. There's so many people that say that that's just not available, and we're proving that it is available. What would it take for that parent, that husband, that wife, that parent to get with you guys and say, hey, help me?
Well, I would say that, first of all, I do think it's a problem, because I don't think that there is ever nearly enough bed space for families.
I know.
One of the things that I would urge you to do at some point is to take a look at the school system and see the numbers that they're turning in for homeless children, because they're far and above beyond what we see in the adult populations that are being reported.
They actually have a school that is Linwood. It is for only homeless. They actually have a school now that's for homeless children, so that they can still obtain an education.
You know, that's not a bad idea, because, you know, God, these kids these days, I mean, they can be awful brutal, you know, and kids that are living on the streets and or are living in shelters and or have to live, you know, on the HUD special, you know, they just get victimized sometimes at these schools. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad to see that there's something special for them.
One of the things that I hope is that they really try to normalize them there, and I don't really know quite what you're talking about, but I'm sure that it must be a good thing. But what I would say to you is that most of the kids that we get in, we try to leave them in the school of origin so that they're not as upset, you know?
Yeah.
Because when they lose their home and everything else, that pretty much sets it
That
all
does
on
it.
end, you
Yeah,
know?
right.
And so we try to help them remain in the school that they were in, if it's at all possible, so that they get to stay with their friends.
Where,
So,
this particular shelter, how many people can you have there?
well, actually, we're set up to house 50, but it isn't always 50. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It just depends. In fact, we just yesterday got in some new beds and things, so we're going to have new beds. But like if a family comes in, let's say we have a family of 4, and we don't have a room for 4, but we have a room for 6. We might put them in there. So there's 2 beds that we're not going to be able to use.
Okay, I gotcha.
So other times, you know, I might have a room for 2 people, and I may put 4 in a family in there. So now I've got 2 more than I normally would. It just kind of
It has
depends.
to work with it.
You kind of have to be flexible when it comes to things like this because you never know what
Right.
you're going to get.
Right.
At one point, I remember several years ago, we were completely full, and I had a call from one of the other shelters, and they were exiting out a family. Well, the family was exiting out because they would not let their daughter stay with them, and the daughter was 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so when they called me and talked to me about it, the problem was that they don't let adult daughters stay in the shelter with the family. Like they don't let mothers, fathers, and grandmothers and all that.
Right.
Just immediate family. And when they got over there, we found out that the 19-year-old daughter had Down syndrome.
Special needs.
Yeah, special needs. And so I blew out the stops and put them into the
Excellent.
living area that we had in the back so that they'd have a place to stay because
It was the
you
right
just
thing
have to be
do.
flexible.
It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I know we're coming on to a hard break, but when we come back, I want to talk about some of the other shelters that you guys take care of. And this is a very nice shelter. I know we're not quite done with our touring of this one yet, but we'll get back into some more of that too here in a minute. Okay, Fawcett. Thank you, Sandy. We're going to come right
Welcome.
back to you. Real people, real life. Wichita, Kansas. America!